next speaker, that is Shaju Stephen, who is the chairman of the board MD at AADYAH Space. Hi, Shaju. Welcome to the
Hi,
webinar.
Omkar.
And
Hi.
absolutely, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your precious time. And I would like to, a lot of people here, almost everyone who is from the Asian side, I think, mostly knows about AADYAH Space. But yeah, I'll give the floor to you completely to introduce yourself, to mention about AADYAH and the kind of, innovation and the products and services that you have in the space industry. So yeah, on to you, Shaju.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Omkar, and thank you, Alex, for this opportunity to participate in this webinar organized by Space Marketplace. I'm Shaju Stephen, and what I do is we are a space technology company, and what we best do is uh, we are essentially a co-development partner with our customers to help them to fast track the design to launch of space systems. We are based out of India with an operation in the US. And just to give you a quick view, we are one of the leading space startups in India. We are part of coming out of Stanford Seed Program, Stanford Business School Seed Program for South Asia. We've been part of the Seraphim Space Accelerator, and we are also part of the India to America Launchpad, which has been recently launched as part of the IndusX program. Uh, we are addressing the huge shortage of space qualified suppliers and the limited engineering talent pool with space experience, which leads to long lead times for technology systems with expensive launches. And if there are failures, it is even more expensive. I think it is the right time for India to lead the space tech for the world. And the opportunity that we are addressing is to design, build, test for space faster, better, and cheaper, and at scale. So we are tapping into the 60 years of the Indian space heritage, as well as building on the brand equity of the Indian IT, who has engineered IT for the world. And so today we are doing design, build, launch capability in India, UAE, and the US. We've been proven with around 17 ongoing engagements with 15 customers in 9 countries. What our vision is to have applicable across 6 engineering discipline, core engineering skills available with 3 technology vectors for motion control, computer vision, and communications. And essentially to address autopilot systems is what our core focus is for launch vehicles, satellites, and spacecrafts. We also plan to have a space-grade assembly, integration, and test facility across Bangalore in India, Abu Dhabi in UAE, and Colorado in US. So also we are also working on space missions, and where we'll have space mission control rooms in Bangalore and in US. What we today do, we do a lot of critical systems that goes into launch vehicles, predominantly thrust vector control systems and flex nozzle for solid or hybrid engines. We do valves and flow control. We do electrical and power systems and GNC avionics. So we work across launch vehicles as well as satellites. Similarly, currently we are also building an autopilot for satellites so that it can be AI/ML-driven autonomous mission control on the satellite itself. We also work on lunar landers as well as lunar rovers. We are working on some exciting programs with customers to, for example, remotely charge a lunar lander that is moving on a lunar surface using laser beams coming from a satellite that is orbiting the lunar orbit. We are also into design, build, launch or satellite system, basically to help our customers to fast track their qualification, space qualification to reach TRL 7 to 8, and that enables them to commercialize the systems faster. Today, our customers are across the world. We work with Skyroot, Hyperspace in France, Gilmore in Australia, Orbex in UK, and Latitude in France for the launch vehicle systems. On the satellite side, we work with customers in Singapore, Austria, France, Spain, and Australia. And then for the lunar lander, we work with Orbit Beyond in the US. And for the remote charging, we are co-developing it with Space Power. Now, we are also repurposing that remote charging of a lunar rover to do a satellite-to-satellite recharging. And we are building out our first IoT satellite to be launched. It's a technology demonstrator for an agricultural use case, and this will be launched in Q3 2025. The reason I'm on this webinar about enhancing situational awareness with space-based ISR is because of not only this, but also this is the autopilot that we are building for the satellites. But then because of the roadmap that we have with regard to um, the missions that we have Pradeep Sat is our satellite platform, and we are doing the first launch in 2025. The second launch is with regard to characterization of debris and proximity access to the space debris. And the third would be trying to do a space rendezvous with debris and also looking at the spacecraft recharge. And in the final phase, Pradeep Sat 4 would target capture of space debris and also, remote operation of a spacecraft robotic arm and other things. So this is our roadmap towards space debris and space situational awareness. But at the same time, for Earth observation, we are currently working with a government in Africa to build a 12 satellite constellation for them, which is a 9 COM satellites along with 3 Earth observation satellites. And each Earth observation, one of them will have a sub-meter sub-meter resolutions, and then it will have less than 2-meter hyperspectral and multispectral payloads. And then it will also have a thermal payload. So all the 4 payloads will be integrated into the 3 Earth observation satellites that we are providing to the government. We are also working with an Israeli company to build out a satellite constellation for early warning system for fire detection. The sensor can detect a single tree fire, and we are envisaging that we will have a 30-minute revisit time using around 30 LEO satellites. The first technology demonstrator, we are already in the works on that, and we will have it by Q4 2026. And the 4 satellites we will launch by 2027, and the 26 satellites, which will complete the constellation, will be launched by 2029. So this is the primary reason why we thought this would be very interesting for any companies who are looking out to build out solutions. We are ideally a technology partner to help them fast track the design to build of their space systems. So that's very much, we are essentially a team of people coming in from ISRO. So our CTO comes with 39 years experience in the Indian space program, plus we have 17 plus retired team members from ISRO who are advisors or consultants with us. I come with a background at Mubadala in Abu Dhabi, as well as an investment manager at Masdar in Abu Dhabi. And then my managing director for US comes from NRO, and then with the US Space Protection Program, he was the first director, and he's a senior advisor to the US Space Force. So that's in short what we are, and what we do is accelerate your space aspirations at AADYAH. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shaju, for this wonderful presentation and quite a lot of, I think, future plans you have unveiled on this webinar. I was also not fully aware about these plans in EO. And I think I'll just like to check the question if there is from anyone from audience who would like to ask right now. There is no right now any questions. I think we might have some questions at the end of the webinar. So yeah, I mean, I have one question, Shaju, regarding the constellations of regarding the EO part of the presentation that you mentioned. So you have mentioned that you're launching your own constellation, and when it comes to EO, we have always seen that the downstream market is the most uh, opportunistic market when it comes to monetization, and I believe the most amount of applications exist in the downstream market. So do you have plans to basically, I mean, this is a very futuristic question. Again, you can answer as per your comfortability and the kind of plans you have and would like to unveil. So do you have any plans to basically uh, go full into the downstream when it comes to providing the services, or would you like to prefer to have any kind of partners to kind of target specific verticals? Because I believe the kind of constellation and the kind of plans you have, the applications might even go beyond agriculture in the future. Uh,
Oh, yes.
yes. So with that perspective,
So
like,
we
do you
don't
have
plan to
plans?
go
Yeah.
downstream. We would prefer to be a technology and a platform level
Okay.
company. And we will partner
Interesting.
with companies who would like to build out. For example, we would like to stay to the core as a technology and hardware driven company. And
Interesting.
of course, we do have a lot of software. For example, our autopilot for satellites consists of not only the OBC but also the mission control software, the MCS, as well as the flight software as well. So we would have those elements, but not essentially getting into an application, which would be somebody like Satsure or others are doing, who have got their own, applications using the Earth observation data coming in from multiple sources.
Interesting. So yeah, thank you very much for that answer. And we have got multiple questions for Shaju actually. So I'll pick the first three, I think, because the first question is not very clear. So the first question we have from Kushkumar Sharma. Can you please share more details about the debris characterization mission? Is it related to space-based space surveillance, and which size of space debris will be targeted?
So initially, we are targeting the small size, less than 10 centimeter debris characterization, and then going up to the bigger sizes, because I think the bigger size debris characterization is something that you can already do with existing technologies, but is a small size that would be critical. So the characterization will be basically, space-based payloads, which would characterize the debris for us. Yes.
Interesting. And there are two more questions. The first one in that line is: are you adopting vertical integration or partnership to build satellites, assembly, and operate?
Yes, we are. In fact, we don't want to build everything in-house. So there are critical systems that for example, propulsion is not an area that we focus on. So propulsion is something that we would always get it from a partner, uh, or else, for example, ADCS systems, or the comms systems. These are not areas that we are good at. So we would definitely look for partnership maybe over the next 5 to 6 years, as and when we are successful with subsystems, then we might look at a vertical integration. But in the short term, we don't plan a vertical integration of the subsystems.
So thank you.
Though we have got a
And
roadmap towards it, but not in the short term. Yeah.
okay, that's nice to hear. But then there's the last question from Pierluigi Matofi. So they mentioned, will it use ML or AI technologies? If yes, is it possible to obtain data for training with ease, or the data must be simulated?
Could you repeat that question? I don't see that
So
question. Q&A, it's in Q&A, is it?
yeah, it's for the autopilot of the satellite.
Yes, it will use
Yeah.
AI/ML. Yes.
Okay, interesting. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are the questions that we had for you, Shaju. And I think at the end of the webinar,
Yeah,
we'll
we can
yeah,
talk about it,
yes,
Pellucci. If you want the data for simulation and training, happy to engage in the discussions as we build out our AI/ML stack.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Shaju, for this wonderful insight.